Welcome back to the offseason in review for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Last year, the Arizona Diamondbacks finished 89-73 and finished third in the NL West. Not quite good enough to make the playoffs. They were really close, but didn't quite get there. As for the Diamondbacks team, they had all around, they played pretty well. They got 97 games out of Gabriel Moreno. He hit 266. A decent, solid year for Gabriel Moreno. I think he's still a very good option for them. Christian Walker had a 2.6 WAR for them, played 130 games, hit 251. Christian Walker had a pretty good year for them with the 2.6 WAR. He hit 251, 26 homers, 84 RBIs in 130 games. But as you know, Christian Walker is no longer with the Diamondbacks. As for Ketel Marte, the best player on the team, third in the MVP race, was an all-star, silver slugger, finished the year with an 6.8 WAR, played 136 games, hit 36 homers, 95 RBIs, hit 292, a nice on base of 372 as well. And then there's Perdomo, their shortstop, who had a 3.5 WAR, played 98 games, hit 273 with 3 homers, 37 RBIs, got on base 34% of the time. Overall, a solid shortstop for them. Do I think he's really the long-term future for them? No. I believe in Jordan Lawler, who is their top prospect, who I have a lot of faith in, who got hurt last year, and that's really why he wasn't up. Next up, we have Eugenio Suarez, who played third for them, played 158 games, 3.1 WAR, hit 256, 30 homers, 101 RBIs, a pretty solid season for Eugenio Suarez. Next up, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., played 133 games for him, had a 2 WAR, hit 279 with 18 homers and 75 RBIs. A pretty solid season for Lourdes Gurriel in the right field position. Corbin Carroll had an interesting season. 3.4 WAR, played 158 games, had 14 triples, 22 homers, 74 RBIs, stole 35 bases, hit 231. Really struggled at the beginning of the season, but got back into it as it went on. Kind of a sophomore slump. I think Corbin Carroll will be fine, but he does have shoulder issues, but we'll see. Next up, we have Jake McCarthy. Played 142 games for him, hit 285, pretty solid. 8 homers, 56 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, 1.7 WAR. Not a bad season from Jake McCarthy. Next up, we have their DH, the righty destroyer, Jock Peterson. Had a 2.9 WAR in 132 games, hit 275, 23 homers, and 64 RBIs. Overall, a pretty solid season for Jock. Also had a 393 on base, almost got that 400 on base. Best on base on the team. He, of course, is gone as well, though, for them. Off the bench, Kevin Newman played 111 games, 2.2 WAR, hit 278 for him. Didn't really, smash the ball out of the park, but a solid season for him. Randall Grudrick was on their bench as well. Played 106 games, hit 291, hit 12 ding-dongs for him, 2.2 WAR. Not bad at all. Blaze Alexander had exactly a 0 WAR. Josh Bell played 41 games for him, hit 279, 5 homers, 22 RBIs. He is now on the Nationals. Pavin Smith, positive WAR season, 270 hitter, 9 homers, 36 RBIs. Jose Herrera had a negative WAR, hit 227, played 42 games for him. Alec Thomas didn't add anything to this team, a 0.0 WAR, played 39 games, hit 250, 245, 3 homers, 17 RBIs. Tucker Barnhart was, I guess, a positive player, but not by much. Played 31 games, hit 173. Probably defensively is where he got his WAR. Adrian De Castello added a half of WAR. 4 homers, 19 RBIs, hit 313 in the games he did play. He was really solid for them. Luis Gilmore, positive player, only played in 18 games, didn't hit very well, but played decent defense. Jace Peterson, negative player for them, 34-year-old, played 14 games, did not hit a lick. And Jorge Barrosa played 8 games for them, didn't add anything, hit 176. As for their pitching staff, Brandon Pfaadt didn't have his best season. 0.5 WAR, went 11-10. Not a great ERA at 1.471. Pitched 181 innings, let up 183 hits. Not the greatest. Struck out 185 batters, though, so he had more strikeouts than he had innings, which is all right. His strikeout to walk isn't horrible. Next up, we have Reed Nelson. 1.7 WAR for them, went 10-6, 4.24 ERA, not a bad season. Pitched 150 innings, let up 155 hits. He struck out 126 batters, so not as many strikeouts as innings pitched. Only walked 34 batters, not a bad strikeout to walk ratio. Next up, we have Zach Gallen, 2.7 WAR, 14-6 on the season. Had a really good 3.65 ERA. Zach Gallen continues to be a really, really solid pitcher. Pitched 148 innings, let up less hits than innings with 133. Struck out 156, which is more strikeouts than innings pitched, but he did walk 54 batters. So his strikeout to walks a little under 3. Next up, we have really what was a huge disappointment, especially after the season he had. Jordan Montgomery came in, signed a pretty decently big contract, pitched pretty bad. Negative 1.4 WAR, 8-7 on the season, 6.23 ERA, pitched 117 innings, only struck out 83, let up 149 hits in 117 innings. Struck out the walk was 1.89. Really bad season from Jordan Montgomery. We'll see what he can do. Next up, we have Slade Cecconi, another pitcher that really struggled for them. Negative 1.1 WAR, 6.66 ERA in 20 games. Pitched 77 innings, only struck out 64. Let up more hits than innings pitched. 3.76 strikeout the walk isn't horrible though. Last up, we have Merrill Kelly, who didn't pitch the entire season. He had a 1 WAR, went 5-1, 4.03 ERA, pretty solid pitching performance by him. Pitched 73 innings, only struck out 63, but Merrill Kelly's more of a contact pitcher. Strikeout to walk ratio was solid. As for their bullpen, Paul Sewald had a kind of down year compared to the year he had last year. 0.2 WAR, 4.31 ERA, pitched in 42 games, pitched 39 innings, struck out 43. Strikeout to walk ratio is actually pretty solid. Then we had Justin Martinez, 22-year-old, had a very solid season, the best season out of the bullpen for them. Had a 2 WAR, went 5-6, 2.48 ERA in 64 games, pitched 72 innings. Struck out 91. Strikeout to walk wasn't the greatest, but he did strike out batters, and he didn't let in a lot of runs. Kevin Ginkel, 30-year-old, had a 0.8 WAR, 3.21 ERA, went 8-3, 70 innings pitched, got 77 strikeouts during those, had a really, really good strikeout to walk, 5.13. Next up, we have Ryan Thompson, 32-year-old, had a positive 1 WAR, 3.26 ERA in 64 games and 66 innings, and had 52 strikeouts. Not quite as big of a strikeout pitcher as other guys, but still had a solid ERA at 3.26. Joe Mantiply, 33-year-old, had a positive WAR of 0.6, had a 3.92 ERA, so all right, but not the best out of the bullpen. Pitched 59 innings, struck out 53. His strikeout to walk is pretty poor. As for the rest of the team, Bryce Jarvis was a pretty solid player for them. Picked up some innings for him. 0.8 WAR, 3.19 ERA. Actually really solid. Only struck out 38 in 59 innings, and his strikeout to walk was abysmal. Another bigger player for them that didn't get to pitch a lot of games was Erod. He had a positive WAR at 0.2, but he had a 5.04 ERA in 10 games. Pitched 50 innings, got 47 strikeouts. Strikeout to walk wasn't great. A couple more players that are of importance is AJ Puck, 29-year-old, 1.3 WAR, had a 1.32 ERA with the team in 30 games, pitched 27 innings, struck out 43. Strikeout to walk 8.6. AJ Puck killed for the Diamondbacks last year. And another guy I'm going to point out just because I like him, 23-year-old Blake Walston, had a negative WAR 0.1, 4.42 ERA, pitched 7 games, 18 innings, struck out 18, strikeout the walk pretty bad, but, we'll see how he does for the rest of his career. Former first-round pick. Now looking into their offseason, the first people that some of the main people on their team that elected free agency this year were Christian Walker, Paul Sewald, Josh Bell, and Kevin Newman. First big thing of the offseason for the Diamondbacks was signing Corbin Burnes. If the Diamondbacks can figure out the Montgomery situation, if they can figure out Eduardo Rodriguez, they could go Burnes, Gallen, Kelly, Erod, Jordan Montgomery, and they still have Brandon Pfaadt. That could be insane. Other than that, they also traded for first baseman Josh Naylor to replace the outgoing Christian Walker. And Josh Naylor's going to come in and play pretty good baseball, I bet, for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they took care of their first base situation. They also made a couple other smaller moves recently. They traded for Greg Kessinger for Matthew Linsky. The Astros were just trying to clear a 40-man spot, and the D-backs picked up Greg Kessinger. Also, they signed former top prospect Christian Pache to a minor league contract. He hasn't really been able to hit exceedingly well in the major league level, but he has been a pretty good defender. Taking a look at their depth chart, like I said, if they can figure out this pitching This could be very, very, very scary if they figure this out. As for their bullpen, I feel like they're still missing a piece or two. Like they got Ginkle, they got Mantiply, they got Puck, Ryan Thompson, Justin Martinez, Ray Nelson. They'll probably have Bryce Jarvis as well in their bullpen, but I feel like they could add another arm. Their catching situation is interesting. I like Gabriel Moreno. I think he's their guy to trust going forward. I'm not quite sure if I like their backup situation, but I feel like they'll be I feel like they'll be fine there. First base, they got Josh Naylor. He's going to be their everyday guy. Second base, they got Ketel Marte. He's obviously going to be their everyday guy. Third base, they got Henio Suarez, everyday guy. Perdomo is going to be everyday at short. I think the Law will get some time. Jordan Law, I think he'll get some time too. You got your three guys in the outfield. You got Jake McCarthy, you got Corbin Carroll, and you got Luis Gurriel Jr. You also have Alec Thomas that can play some baseball too. The thing that I don't know exactly what they're sure of is their DH. I still feel like they need another hitter unless they're going to trust the Law and have the Law play opening day. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be doing at the DH spot. I feel like they need another hitter or something else going on there unless they're planning on playing a prospect opening day. But coming off a season you won 89 games, that's usually not something you'll do. So I think they're going to try to replace Jock Peterson in some way. Overall, I do think that this Diamondback team is a little bit better because they brought in Corbin Burns. They did lose a pitcher. They lost Paul Sewald. They lost their first baseman, but they did a good job in replacing their first baseman. I'm excited to see what else they do in the offseason because I don't think they have a move or two. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with the big boys this next season. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the Padres, but they're definitely not going to be a better team than the Dodgers, I don't think. Unless their pitching staff really figures it out, and Jordan Montgomery is him again, Roder Rodriguez is him again. If those two figure it out, I could see some conversation going on. But right now, they're just not a better team than the Dodgers. I feel like they can still be a playoff team this next season, especially adding Corbin Burns. I think if Jordan Lawler has a really solid year, they could be really dangerous offensively as well. They have a very full, complete lineup, or they can bring in another really good hitter. And I think this Diamondback team is going to be an over 500 team, but I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing. If we look at the prospect situation for them, like I said, the Law is going to be one of the guys that's going to be ready to go. Their top prospect. I don't feel like they have much else that they're going to be like, yes, we're ready to go right now with these guys. Yu-Min Lin is supposed to be ready maybe sometime this year, according to MLB. He was all right last year, getting up to Double-A. I don't know if he's exactly going to be a guy that's really up, but overall, they don't look like they have a ton of help that's going to be coming from the minor league level. So they're going to have to figure out most of their stuff either in free agency or with the guys they already have. Overall, like I said, I think the Diamondbacks are going to be a good team. I think they're going to play well, but I don't think they're going to win a division. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ketel Marte will be the best player on the team yet again. I think Corbin Burns will give him maybe a run for his money. I think Zach Gallen's going to be better than Corbin Burns this year, though. I have a feeling that Zach Gallen's going to have a better year than Corbin Burns. And I would slot them for an 85-win season this next year. I don't think they're going to be quite at the 89-win level that they were at last year. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.